It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. The ultimate goal is to be financially free. My legacy building, yeah, that's enough for me. We scaling our levels to a higher degree and passing the fruits to my family tree. You never work a day when you love what you're doing, fulfilling purpose, pursuing, growing, and never been truant. Dedicated to the process, focusing on problem solving, bringing minds out and be the ones that never went to college. Hungry though, watching folks come and go. I learned to seize the moment. Every option isn't optimal, only speak on what I control. Everything else is like an equation, comes down to the situation at hand. But let's keep it basic, bring value. Every room I step inside became an asset. I assess the objective logically where y'all procrastinate. With bigger smile budgets, I can do it all. Cousin, ever since I started hustling, we gon' get that ball jumping. Yeah, scared money don't make money, homie. You missed the shot you scared to take, that's why I'm always loaded. How many companies we took from 0 to 100? They never saw me coming, now them numbers up and running. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening, man. Getting to y'all a little late today. Your boy had to take a nice nap, man. The day got away from me. You know what I'm saying? Me and my son, we had a great nap today, and I'm just getting to it. So I'm gonna push that Nick Grant thing back to tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be good to go. All right. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about the feed being fake, okay? So, y'all know there's been a lot of talk about bots. There's been a lot of talk about, the clipping companies like Clippers and all that, and Kick, and how all these companies are being funded by other companies, basically strategizing, manipulating the timeline, and basically making it seem like all of this stuff is organically happening. Whether that be the music posts that go up on like the Kirkos of the world, or the Fear Bucks, or like all of these different pages that are just like super viral nowadays. It's well known that a lot of these people, or entities, I'll say, because we don't even know if it's real people behind these fucking accounts, are bought, paid for, and used for marketing. Okay? We've been talking about, some of these streamers who are also in that pipeline where they're, utilizing their platform to construct virality, try to put their collective energy behind something, et cetera, et cetera. We hear those conversations with different artists in the industry. A common name that comes up is Drake. We see how he interacts with the streamers. We see how he flies them out to concerts, album releases, all of that different type of stuff. I'm not saying that he's the sole artist in the industry that does these things, but he's the biggest that does these things, and he does it on the biggest level, in which, again, he makes himself abundantly like present with these people. But they've actually released a study, a full study about this, and they're now claiming that approximately 90%, this is an estimate, of everything that we see on the internet, on these social platforms, is manufactured, fake, viral stuff. Okay? So just be vigilant about what you're coming across. You can only do so much in terms of like building your algorithm and curating it to where it's mostly in line. The things that you like ultimately create a snowball of other things like that being fed to you. But even with that, in those little sects, you're still gonna see manufactured shit that's basically tailored to your target audience. So here we are on Vulture, where they've done the study, and this article is called "The Feed is Fake," just like the name of this video. That viral song, movie, meme, influencer, and celebrity drama was probably the product of a stealth marketing campaign. They just put this up a few days ago on the 15th, just as Iceman was hitting the streets. This study came out. So they say Joe Lim estimates that 90% of what you see on the internet is advertising in disguise, and he should know. For 3 years, Lim ran a company called Flutterfy, which at its peak operated 65,000 dummy social media accounts used to drum up attention on behalf of paying clients. On a typical day, he says Flutterfy posted 50,000 videos across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, all of them designed to pass for the unscripted output of ordinary users. Okay? So when we talk about bot accounts, when we talk about these content accounts, they ran 65,000 of them across social media platforms, posting 50,000 videos per day of shit being forced into our face. He says, we promoted music for all the major record labels, says Lim, 29, who lives in San Francisco. We worked with a top 5 celebrity I can't name. Oh, I wonder who. We got 40 million views for an artist with just 100,000 followers. Flutterfy services were in demand in politics too. When Eric Adams was running for re-election, his team asked me to do a campaign with videos of AI-generated influencers shitting on Mamdani. Okay? So this person worked with artists, celebrities, politicians, doing AI-generated bullshit, slop, the whole nine. And now he's coming out and letting it be known, which I find to be very interesting. It's always interesting when somebody like contributes to the filth and then they just decide one day, you know, we're not going to do this anymore. I'm going to now open up the floodgates of what it is that I used to do. Your ass need to fry too. Anyway, he says this grocery store idea is bullshit. Lim says he turned down the Adams job, not out of principle, but because a consultant working with the campaign stopped replying to his emails. Eric Adams' former chief of staff, Frank Caroni, tells me, I have no knowledge about this, but I would have encouraged it. The point of this kind of marketing is that nobody is supposed to notice it. But lately, the machine, is this text too small? I made it a little bit better so y'all can read along. But lately, the machinery has started to show. In March, Jesse Corinne and Andrew Spellman, co-founders of the digital music promotion agency Chaotic Good Projects, gave a live interview to a Billboard reporter at South by Southwest in which they breezily described using sock puppet accounts to manufacture enthusiasm for artists at every level in the music industry, from major label pop stars to niche indie acts. Spellman called the practice trend simulation. His motto, everything on the internet is fake. Okay? So all the hype, from small niggas up to the big ones, they're playing a role with this so-called trend simulation. Let's go ahead and just like get the floodgates started. Let's go ahead and ramp up some energy around this person. Fake energy, that is. Because unfortunately, for the majority, people are sheep and they need proof of concept. They need to see other people having energy for something before they take interest in it. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. Now, I'm sure folks over here, the insiders, I'm sure y'all ain't falling victim to this shit all the time. But unfortunately, this is where we're at. Chaotic Good's interview went viral the old-fashioned way by making lots of real people mad. Some were appalled by the cynicism of the company's pitch, others by its client list, which included indie artists whose popularity fans preferred to imagine has spread organically. Most of the outrage focused on the Brooklyn band Geese and its frontman Cameron Winter, where strangled water buffalo caterwaulings became inescapable in 2025. To skeptics, Chaotic Good seemed to provide the missing explanation for the group's unexpected ubiquity. Wired called Geese's success a psyop, which triggered Pace to defend the band in a piece headline, "Congratulations, you discovered digital marketing." Then, with timing that did not discourage further conspirational thinking, TMZ published photos of Winter leaving a restaurant with Olivia Rodrigo, and the subject mostly changed. So they're also pushing that, hey, TMZ decided to post a possible romance to distract people in the midst of the negative press. But the fight over geese missed the larger point. The issue wasn't really whether one rock band had fraudulently foisted on unsuspecting listeners. It was that the same techniques that Corinne and Spellman bragged about on stage are now being used to fool people on every app they go into in order to find out what other people think, not just in music, but across entertainment, politics, consumer products, and celebrity gossip. Shady marketing and propaganda aren't new, of course, but what is new is that the entire infrastructure of public conversation has been quietly captured by both. On social media, popular opinion is being formed, measured, and manipulated all at once, and every signal the platforms produce, a trending song, a backlash, so even the negative shit, a talking point, the feeling that everybody is suddenly talking about the same thing can now be fabricated by unseen actors with hidden agendas. We've locked ourselves in the stupidest possible version of Plato's cave, where what looks like the spontaneous consensus of the hive mind is often just shadows on the wall, put there by marketers, political operatives, foreign influence campaigns. Now, that part is even more uh, diabolical. You know what I'm saying? The foreign influence campaigns, you see all these people all talking about the same shit. You say the wrong thing about the wrong celebrity, and you got a whole bunch of niggas from South Africa supposedly all up in your mentions calling you everything but a child of God, or anyone else with a few $100 and something to sell. Everybody is doing this now, Lim says. And if you're not, you're behind. So here, we've talked about it on this channel before. The money being exchanged for clips. Right? You get on the internet, you build a clipping profile. Niggas is getting paid. Earn money by posting clips and edits of the science fiction drama Apple TV Plus show For All Mankind. We've also seen with the Iceman thing. Remember they was paying out very similar type shit. We saw the screenshots a few weeks ago. Tell everybody Iceman's coming. Tell everybody Iceman's coming. For a million views, we'll pay you $8,000 or some shit. You know what I mean? Campaign details. Any clips and edits that follow the campaign details on TikTok or YouTube, country tier 1 or 2, minimum video duration 7 seconds, payout $1 per 1,000 views, which means you get $100 per 100,000 views. Budget 4,375 up to 4.4 million views, so you'll get capped off at about $4,000. Minimum payout $5K total views across clips. Maximum payout 30% of the entire budget, $1,300. Clipper. Join Clipper. Earn money by posting clips and edits of Dominique Fike. I think that's how you say his name. And this is a popular motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Breaking down the meaning of his song White Keys. So now people are trying to interpret and break down lyrics and what the song means. Not because they're genuinely interested in it, but because of the clipping campaign to do so. Same idea, same dollar per 1,000 views. Budget is $3,500. Fike, however you say this motherfucker name, he a popular motherfucker though. Song is out there booming. The primary tactic used by companies like Chaotic Good and Flutterfy and many, many others is known as clipping. A record label or a movie studio, celebrity talent agency, political campaign, or just some bozo with a video podcast hires a company to turn a song, trailer, interview, stump speech, or whatever into short social media friendly fragments, either by cutting the clips in-house or by farming them out to a network of freelance clippers. So this is the other piece, right? Because when you're farming it, that means that it's already been pre-populated what they want you to send out. All you got to do is be the person or a part of a group of people to push it out. It's being farmed. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Those clips are then posted by normal looking accounts. A meme page might serve up a quote about relationships with a new pop song playing behind it. A fan page for a horror movie might cut the scariest 20 seconds from the trailer into a loop and post it twice a day. Another account might chop the most entertaining exchange from a 3-hour podcast and rebroadcast it to people who would never sit through the entire episode. If enough of these clips rack up enough views fast enough, credulous social media algorithms interpret the spike as an authentic surge of interest and push the videos to real users who sometimes generate real engagement, prompting the algorithm to push those videos even further. Clipping's origins go back to at least 2022 when the influencer Andrew Tate, y'all remember that? Sorry, motherfucker. Deployed members of his fan club to post clips of his podcast on social media, causing so many people to wonder who he was and why he was clogging up their feeds that he briefly became one of the most Googled people on earth. Since then, and especially over the past year, clipping has gone professional, okay? So basically, they're saying the whole reason that he even became somebody that we know by name and can say and automatically know who it is was because of clipping and clipping culture. So if motherfuckers just start turning a blind eye to some of these deliberate, who is this shit to some of these nobodies, things could perhaps take a turn. They say dozens of agencies now offer the service to paying customers. Many operate out of public view inside members-only communities, which I found were not so hard to join on platforms like Discord and WAP. I'm not even up on WAP, but I've been seeing that shit for the last few days. Where they recruit regular people to do the posting. Each community functions as its own marketplace. An agency announces a new campaign specifying where the clips should run, usually TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and what they pay, usually $1 or $2 per 1,000 views. Members then have a few days to make and upload as many clips as they can, hoping at least one will go viral. A clipper who posts a single video might earn nothing if it flops or thousands if it hits. The founder of one agency tells me his top clipper has earned over 6 figures publishing across thousands of accounts. I can only imagine who that top clipper is. In a couple of weeks of lurking in these clipping communities, I saw campaigns scroll past for Bad Bunny, Zayn Malik, Fleetwood Mac, Shania Twain, Luke Combs, Noah Kahan, Tiana Taylor, Teddy Swims, Dominic Fike, Kane Brown, Netflix's The Night Agent, Apple TV Plus for All Mankind, the horror movie Insidious 6, Michael Jackson biopic, even that. The betting platform Kalshi, we know that because they pay motherfuckers straight up. And on Twitter, it had to be disclosed if your posts were sponsored by Kalshi, right? But now I'm seeing Kalshi being promoted during fucking NBA games. Get that shit out of here. And the Met Gala, among others. This does not necessarily mean the campaigns were paid for by anyone directly associated with those people, movies, TV shows, apps, or events. In some cases, the clipping agencies might have launched them on their own to lure prospective clients or AstroTurf themselves. But it's hard to know for sure since none of the representatives for the people or things listed above responded to my calls or emails asking for clarification. And then there was Justin Bieber. In April, Bieber, who is among the most streamed artists in pop history and has 287 million Instagram followers, headlined 2 consecutive weekends at Coachella, playing before massive festival crowds and millions more watching on YouTube. Coachella is the biggest stage in pop music, save only for the Super Bowl, the kind of event that in theory generates its own attention, and yet on both weekends, a Discord server I'd been monitoring hosted paid campaigns for Bieber's Coachella performances, offering clippers as much as $1 per 1,000 views. The announcement for one campaign read in all caps, "This is so viral, go, go, go." Bieber was also listed as a client on Chaotic Good Project's website before his name, along with the rest of the company's roster, was deleted. So once people actually figured it out and saw the client list, them niggas had to take everybody down. Not that they took down the clips, but they took down their client list. Why would someone as famous as Justin Bieber need clipping? The people I asked seemed touched by my naivete. Anyone who wants to go mega viral now, they need to pour fuel on the fire. It says Lim, who admits he has no specific knowledge of the campaign, but knows there is so much spam and pretend hype on the internet that nothing cuts through without artificial help anymore, not even huge artists with real audiences. Keith Presley, the co-founder of Gudia, a behavioral intelligence firm that uses AI to track the sources of viral phenomena, put it more broadly. I don't know if we found a true viral trend in a while. All of them are going to have some sort of inauthentic behavior behind them. So again, we've had a lot of speculation about these things. We've had a lot of talk about this stuff, but this article is putting it all in one centralized location and getting to the root of where all this shit is coming from and some of the power players, so quote unquote, that are behind it. Whoever paid for the Bieber clipping campaigns, his reps did not respond to multiple calls and emails, seems to have gotten their money's worth. In the days after the first Coachella set, a video of Bieber performing Daisies became the most watched clip from this year's festival on Coachella's official YouTube channel, racking up more than 21 million views, twice as many as any other 2026 video. And you can pretty much guess that a lot of these so-called artist stan pages are not really stands at all, by the way. They're just clipping accounts. And when they're, when the artist that is incentivized to clip for does something notable or does something that they want to go viral or pops their head outside, they post it. And then there's a whole network of so-called stan pages that are going to post it at the same time, post the same version or variation of the headline and push it out. And then we're going to be looking at it like, damn, niggas out here talking about this shit. This is a hot story, a hot topic, ain't it? That bitch colder than cold grits. But it's generating heat because they fool you into thinking that it is. Bieber's catalog drew 664 million streams globally in the week ending April 16th, a 171% increase over the previous week. Beauty and a Beat, his 2012 collaboration with Nicki Minaj, debuted on Billboard Global 200 at number 4 and ascended to number 1 2 weeks later. I think that was something she also bragged about on her page. Only the second non-holiday song to top the chart more than a decade after its release. How much of that lift came from the Coachella sets themselves and how much came from the thousands of paid clips amplifying those sets is hard to say. But the blurriness is the whole point. The artist gets a bump. The bump can't be definitively attributed to the campaign that paid for it. And nobody can say for sure what's organic and what isn't. Until recently, an artist looking to juice his streaming numbers might have paid third-party services to send bots to Spotify. We've heard a lot of talk about that. An executive at a Hollywood talent agency tells me that fake streams are a loss leader for the music industry, a fixed cost that produces a fixed number of fake-looking plays. And that's never going to incite a wildfire moment. Clipping is different. It doesn't fake the stream itself. It fakes the appearance of excitement that causes real people to stream. You might incept an actual trend. You have a chance for a 100 times return on your ad spend. So make it look like the people care in order to make the people care. That's not to say that clipping is a magic bullet or that any artist can become Bieber or Geese if they spend enough money. If real users don't watch or share the clips, the campaign fizzles. So in that sense, a lot of what clipping does is help good artists find the audiences who would have liked them anyway by accelerating the early excitement just enough to push them past the algorithmic threshold that decides who gets discovered and who doesn't. But the problem is that everybody has figured this out now, so the threshold keeps moving. Dan Brahmi, the CEO of the bot detection firm Cyabra, remember we talked about Cyabra, they did that Nicki Minaj study just a couple months ago and said that a lot of her followers, a lot of her streams, a lot of her everything is fake. They compare this to a professional soccer league in which every club has secretly bribed a referee. And of course, sports is no stranger to shit being fixed. We've heard about fixed fights for years in boxing, MMA, UFC. Recent investigations have outed people in the NBA for being paid, from the referees to the players. Terry Rozier, to miss shots, try to keep the score deficit at a certain level so that people can make money. All of this bullshit. Everything is fixed. Hell, like I said, I went to the Atlanta Dream game the other day. Them refs was calling some wild shit on Alicia Gray. You know what I'm saying? Calling offensive fouls on no push-offs, calling defensive fouls just for tapping somebody on their back. Crazy shit, man. I can't say that that's what it was, but it sure looked like it. If you have one team that doesn't have enough money or just isn't aware that you can bribe a ref to always win the quarterfinals, that team is out of the system. Manipulating algorithms is only part of the goal. The other is fooling humans, particularly the dwindling number of journalists, critics, and other gatekeepers who are still capable of conferring legitimacy by paying attention. Live streamers were among the first to discover that clipping could make them seem more significant than their real statistics would suggest. Right? So you got some streamers out there who get like 500 views, you know, but on hyper viral platforms like TikTok or X, formerly known as Twitter, little clips of them saying something controversial can get them out to millions and make them seem like somebody that you need to be checking for. Or who the fuck is this person? Never seen him before. And then for the next 2 weeks, guess who you're going to be seeing? Now they're in your consciousness. My mind playing tricks on me. Two of the most successful are the Groyper provocateur Nick Fuentes, who's been banned by most major platforms but remains artificially overrepresented on TikToks thanks to his clips, and Clavicular, the Luxmaxer, who was recently charged with a misdemeanor for shooting an alligator on one of his streams, who credits his golden ratio handsomeness to smashing himself in the face with a hammer. The New York Times recently profiled both of them as figures of great importance, which they aren't, which they are now, in the sense that profiles in New York Times can occasionally make people seem important, even though the live shows that are ostensibly their flagship product usually draw concurrent audiences in the low to mid 5 figures, like I was just saying. Less than a fading cable news show does during a slow hour. Reporters and editors who get their ideas from their social media feeds, which is most of them most of the time, can mistake a paid simulation of public interest for the real thing and then make it real by covering it. The screenwriter William Goldman once famously wrote that nobody knows anything, by which he meant that no one in Hollywood has any idea in advance which movies will turn into hits. That line has become true in ways Goldman could have never imagined when he wrote it in 1983, when in retrospect we actually knew quite a bit. Back then, at least we knew after the fact which culture products had found an audience, because we still had trusted metrics for cultural success that were tracked and audited and reported by people whose jobs depended on getting them right. But unfortunately, as we have our latest administration in office, they're showing us that keeping track of things, keeping checks and balances, all of that stuff is being thwarted in real time. Quality work is not being rewarded. Bullshit is being put to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Distraction after distraction. Things that were set in stone are now being questioned or just outright removed. Constitutional rights, all type of shit, man. All of it is playing a role. And then you got all the clipping distracting people. But none of that applies anymore. Most culture is streamed inside apps that lock their consumption data in a black box. That's why I said, watch, they put them rankings out for the Breakfast Club and Remican and Maleficent and all of those podcasts that went to Netflix. They were getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. The Breakfast Club, anyway. That other podcast was getting, 20 to 50,000. But they put the rankings out to make it seem like they're doing so well. But if you actually look at the views that they're now getting on Netflix, probably like 30,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Probably 200,000 views in a week, if that. But if you take the rankings, it's going to make it seem like they're still doing great. Niggas ain't watching no goddamn podcast on Netflix. Report whichever proprietary metric flatters them the most and refuse to be audited or to convert their stats into anything that can be compared with those of any competitor. Even the artists whose work all this machinery is supposedly serving no longer have a reliable way to know what real audiences actually want, since whatever feedback reaches them may already have passed through the same apparatus built to distort that feedback in the first place. In that vacuum, fakery thrives. When nobody knows what's actually popular, the appearance of popularity matters more than popularity itself, which is why hard ticket sales, you know what I'm saying, physical media, people actually spending their dollars, not just their attention, is more valid than ever and more needed than ever to actually quantify success. The reason all of this is happening, probably more than any other, is that clipping is cheap, and not just cheap, cheaper than almost any form of advertising that has ever existed. A typical clipping campaign costs clients roughly $1 per thousand views, what marketers call a $1 CPM. By comparison, a billboard might cost $10,000 per thousand, $10 per thousand estimated passersby. A TV spot can cost $30 or more per thousand viewers. A magazine ad can run even higher. An officially purchased TikTok ad, the kind labeled sponsored, can cost 10 times what a clipping campaign does, with the added disadvantage that its viewers will know they're watching an ad. The math of clipping is so favorable to clients that in many cases, campaigns end up giving away views for free. Clipping agencies typically don't charge extra if a campaign's view count exceeds whatever the client originally paid for. So if it goes beyond the paid threshold, you don't get no extra money for it. It's just a thank you. You did well. Come back for the next clipping campaign. Once the budget is met, the meter stops, but the clips that have been posted keep circulating. Krish Ramani, the co-founder of the clipping agency Spade Clipping, told me one of his recent campaigns cost the client less than $10,000 and resulted in nearly 100 million views. Why is anyone spending money on a billboard, he asked me, when I can get your brand in front of people for a fraction of the cost? All right. So here we get to a part in here where they actually talk to people from the social media. They say, I asked TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube whether they were aware of the scale of clipping activity on their platforms and what, if anything, they plan to do about it. A TikTok spokesperson told me, when we become aware of this type of violative content on TikTok, we take it down, and confirmed that the company had taken down a batch of clips I'd sent over as evidence of a clipping campaign involving the country singer Kane Brown. I'd long suspected he'd been cheating to outrank me in search results. Interesting. Instagram didn't respond directly to me, but did recently announce what looked like an oblique answer. The company would expand an existing rule so that if you mostly share content from others that you didn't make or meaningfully edit, your account won't be recommended to people who don't follow you. Yes, I seen them put that announcement out a few days ago. In many clipping campaigns, videos are technically meaningfully edited, so whether this rule will catch any of them is unclear. A YouTube spokesperson, meanwhile, replied to me with a statement. YouTube has long-standing rules to protect the integrity of our platform, and we continuously evaluate our policies to ensure they are in the right place. The next day, a new clipping campaign appeared on one of the Discord servers I've been watching for Google I/O, the annual developer conference run by YouTube's parent company. YouTube gave them that fucking fancy worded response, basically saying, we ain't doing a motherfucking thing. Only thing we gonna do is knock a nigga page down if they say some shit we don't find to be okay. Or if your page happens to get hacked, we're not gonna help you get it back, even if you were actually, running a healthy channel. They don't fuck with the creators, unfortunately. just the way it is. All right. So I don't want to read this whole thing. This shit is a lot longer than I thought it would be. But just as I was planning on moving the fuck on, what do you know? Tag PR comes up. We just talked about Tag PR about a month and some change ago. PR company representing Drake. You know what I'm saying? Blake Lively. Or excuse me, Justin Baldoni. And all these different people. The ones who are being investigated for hit pieces on people and smearing people's name and putting smut allegations on folks. They made the article as well. Gotta read it. This type of digital subterfuge became known to the world last year during the legal fight between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni when court documents showed communications between Baldoni's team and the crisis PR firm, the agency group, or Tag PR, describing a multi-layered strategy designed to convince the public that Lively was difficult to work with and Baldoni was the aggrieved party. The proposal, according to those court documents, involved using subcontractors to manipulate SEO to change subject matter opinion on the first page of Google. So these motherfuckers were deconstructing and manipulating Google results. Coordinate with social platforms and forum moderators to de-emphasize or remove damaging posts and seed Reddit with threads with theories favorable to Baldoni. So now even threads on Reddit, where a lot of people spend a lot of time having different conversations and conspiracies and this is going on, nobody's talking about this. We're seeing that Reddit communities are also being compromised with fake facts. We can bury anyone, Tag PR CEO Melissa Nathan wrote in one text message, adding that the work would be untraceable. The price tag for a 4-month blitz against Lively was $175,000. Baldoni's attorney denied that any smear campaign was ever run, but the price tag says different. Funny enough, when I spoke about that, some people tried to say, hey, that was proven in court to be fake. Was it? Most of the best known work in this space relates to crises. Over the past decade, Nathan has worked through various scandals with clients including Brad Pitt, Drake, Travis Scott, Rebel Wilson, Logan Paul, and Johnny Depp. But it's easy to imagine the same infrastructure being used to shape perceptions on matters with lower stakes in text messages quoted in the court documents. Nathan tells Baldoni's team about another contractor who, for $25,000 a month, offers social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts, helping to change the narrative and stay on track. So again, if you've ever been attacked by someone trying to be favorable to somebody that you may have said something about in a joking manner, some people are out here paying $25,000 a month to keep you under attack. I've been witnessing it myself. Like when Keep Six Solid decided to post me up and try to call me a struggle rapper at 40. I make it look good though. I'm pretty sure Keep Six Solid is getting a solid paycheck to malign people who are not favorable to their six God. And there's others who attack me on a daily basis just for posting. Shit has gotten outrageous the last few weeks. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Shit that's even unrelated. I be getting attacked by the same people, same profile, I should say. Very interesting. Once you know that such a product exists, and how the fuck am I on y'all radar? Let me just ask that question. I only got 40,000 subscribers yet. I ain't even hit 7,000 followers on Twitter. But I'm showing up in y'all monthly budget. Okay. Some narrative campaigns don't just push one side of an argument, they push both. That, Presley says, is what Gurria saw in the fuss leading up to Bad Bunny's performance at the Super Bowl halftime show in February, which broke along predictable political lines. MAGA-aligned commentators complained about the NFL's decision to hire a Spanish-speaking artist, and progressives pushed back. Gudia analyzed 3.7 million related social media posts and found that fewer than 4% of the accounts in the conversation generated more than a quarter of the content. Also, the two opposing narratives were mirror images of each other in volume and posting cadence, suggesting that the same culprit may have been amplifying both sides of the fight. Now, that's some interesting shit there. We talk about agents of chaos. They're alluding to the fact that arguments on both sides of Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, whether it was the pro-Spanish, pro-freedom, Bad Bunny performing, and the MAGA posts were all possibly funded by the same company, perpetuating the same thoughts on both sides just to make more noise about it. Whether it was positive or negative, it kept people in tune to want to see it. Crazy. They speculated that nation-state actors might have been responsible, but it's not only the possibility or even the most intuitive. By the time the controversy burned itself out, the NFL had gotten exactly what it wanted from a halftime show: a week of saturation coverage with a culturally divided country griping about its programming choices, while Bad Bunny got the kind of attention that even a global superstar can't always buy directly. His representatives did not respond to requests for comment. This shit go deep, man. I really don't want to read this motherfucker, but I'm going to scan through it. Just so here they get into the fucking Sydney Sweeney shit. Remember she was doing the goddamn great jeans? And everybody was like, oh my God, not the blonde hair, blue-eyed girl talking about how good her jeans are, promoting a pair of stupid ass actual jeans. Yep. Manipulation. What else we got? Justice Department, Washington Post, looking articles, anti-Kamala Harris messaging. So then you get to the fact that Homeboy shut down his company. He recently shut down Flutterfy after trying to scale too fast and falling behind on deliverables. At one point, the company accidentally posted the same video to 7,000 accounts, which got them all banned. But he wasn't discouraged when we last spoke. He was building a new company and thinking even further ahead. All of this nonsense is only going to last 3 to 5 more years, because in the future, people will stop trusting what they see on social media. By then, the job will have moved one layer up. You'll have to start distributing your content toward AI agents, and then they'll teach humans what they want, is what they say. Very interesting article, very interesting study over there. Definitely gives us a glimpse into, a glimpse behind the curtain to see how a lot of this content that's spreading on a social media, internet level, how these conversations are manufactured, how these things are getting jump started, how people behind the scenes are putting little price tags on things to incentivize people who want to make a little extra money off of content creation to get them to bite the carrot. And as long as you bite the carrot, you do the job, you get people talking, it yields in profits for the companies. Because again, manufactured hype in many cases will lead to organic hype. And then they just put more fire on it with more fake shit until it seems like it's everywhere. So again, all you got to do is look around. You'll see it. It's pretty obvious. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there, man. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah.
The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and greats unacknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve, don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair, this the ATL. Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I had to